Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the main channel. Inside of today's video, as you can see, we have a banger matchup. We have a ZETA versus SK Gaming in the grand finals of EMEA, and boy, is this an absolute banger. Again, you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm still pretty sick, so the casting is not gonna be as good as it probably usually is, but at least I can give you guys some insight. And hopefully we get a really good game. So you can see already how the draft is playing out. I'll just casually talk about what's at stake once we get into the game, because of course the draft is unfolding, so we need to talk about it. So RT is a very good pick, especially when it comes down to knockout. And the weird thing is RT is really good against Bonnies, so I'm unsure why SK actually drafted a Bonnie against RT, because of course when Bonnie jumps in, RT can just use his super and just kind of counter out Bonnie's super. Gus is pretty good as well in Belle's rocks. So if I was ZETA, yeah, Sprout is definitely a really solid option. Even though they literally picked a Sprout into a Bonnie, I guess they're probably going to go for something else. Maybe like a Pam, maybe a Belle is used quite frequently here. Brock, ZETA love going Brock for sure. You know, Brock is a solid option right now. Always overlooked in terms of the bans and always has a pretty high win rate. So those are the kind of brawlers, or even a Mr. P, because typically you don't really see tanks too often in knockout. Maybe you might see it on more grassier maps like Gold on Gooch, where you might see Daryl, and we go with a Belle. So kind of predicted that one. Belle's just good against everything, can be good against most lanes, you know, pretty good against Bonnie when it's in that 1v1 at the initial stage, good against Gus as well. I think Belle does outrange Gus, I'm pretty sure, so they've got the matchup there. Same with RT as well. RT has the matchup in terms of the 1v1s. He's got more range than Gus and Bonnie, so that would be pretty interesting. In terms of the last pick, we could go with a Grom. To be honest, I would go with a thrower, just because being pushed back by a thrower can be painful. If we can go with a Carl as well, we go with a Barley. So I was expecting a throw. When the enemy team has a throw, you either have to respond with some sort of aggression, or you got to go with a thrower of your own. So Barley is one which, you know, some people might frown upon, because he's not normally the go-to. Normally you think of Tick, for example, you think of Grom, you think of Sprout, but Barley is really underrated. I've seen it work here before when I was casting at ESL, I believe Foot. Actually, no, I wasn't casting that game, but I was watching it. But Foot went Barley against, I think it was SK themselves, I'm pretty sure. I can't remember who it was, or it was Humble. And they ended up winning with Barley on this map. So what I'm saying is Barley's actually pretty good, especially when it comes down to the latter stages, because you've got the gadget that can heal you up. So going into the first game, and so if you've missed it, it's been a really good monthly final. I missed a few games because I had to do adult duties like walking my dog, but basically we had SK beat A&R in the semi-finals. We had ZETA beat Totem, so two absolute banger games which you want to watch maybe even before watching this, to be honest, because they were so good. And then we had A&R beat Foot as well in the quarterfinals, which was a really good game as well. So we've had a lot of good games, but straight away Ope jumping onto Naui. I mean, I'm talking about how RT can counter Bonnie in a sense. Ope just says no to that and gets the first kill, which is definitely vital. And now it's pretty much going to be GG for this round. As soon as one kill goes the way of one team, normally it just ends up in a round win. So Chaos is just going to try and slowly build up his super. Not too sure why Meow's kind of fighting it so much. He just really doesn't need to feed any of those supers. And SK is going to take the first round. So to be honest, I thought that in terms of composition, I thought maybe SK's comp would have been a little bit towards the latter rounds, just because Barley might take longer to get his super rather than a Sprout. I thought ZETA would definitely have the first engagement, but now Meow picks up his wall. He's able to push up again here. So Ope is marked up by the Belle, so that's going to be very interesting, especially as the game goes on. And Jero needs to keep tapping him, keep him weak, because else Ope is going to push up. Ope is a really good body on this map. I've seen him play it multiple times, but there's multiple taps there from Jero. Absolutely insane. Chaos has to use a gadget pretty early. Jero does miss a few taps here, so that's allowing Ope to push up. Maybe a Sugar Rush will be popped pretty soon. Now he's going to keep them tapped up. But to be honest, you know, ZETA need to make something happen quickly, because again, I just really love Barley once it closes in. OPA uses the Sugar Rush here to push Jero all the way back. Now it really needs to help with a pinch, because OPA just clapped Jero on the lane, and now that is another bad situation for ZETA division. OPA is using Sugar Rush to get out of danger, which I really like, to be honest, but he really needs to heal up. The wall was pretty decent, but in the end, Chaos is going to be able to beat Sprout easily in a 1v1, and OPA is going to be able to get the kill. So really good start from SK. To be honest, like, ZETA are clearly the favorites here. I wouldn't say it was like, I think I've seen the predictions at the beginning, and it was like 80% ZETA. I wouldn't have actually said that. Probably said like 60% ZETA, 40% SK. But if you've been watching Brawl Esports all year, you've known that SK's journey has been pretty rough, right? It hasn't been the cleanest. They've had multiple roster changes, and to be honest, they looked pretty terrible at the beginning of the year. But myself and probably some hardcore SK fans knew what, well, a lot of people know what this roster's capable of, or just the players are capable of, especially Chaos. You know, even Gia, even though he's dropped at the moment, definitely capable of big things. Yoshi, he's been established on the scene for years. You know, I've faced this guy so many times in monthly finals. He's such a solid player. Then, of course, Ope, we've seen him on foot. We know how good of a player and how good of aggressive brawlers, sorry, he is. So, also, in terms of the storyline for this one, so I'm 6 minutes in, I haven't even explained the storyline. So, the storyline is SK have to pretty much win this one. I mean, the can comes second, but then it relies on Foot actually coming fourth in the LAN. So, basically, this isn't the be-all and end-all. In all of the regions, it's basically locked in terms of the points. Like, they can't gain any BSC points from any other third-party events. But in EMEA, in the ESL, I think in 2 weeks' time, you will, well, SK just closing this off in the end of Chaos in a 1v1. Should be able to win this against Jero unless some madness happens. And wow, SK are one round of knockout away from winning it. So basically, yeah, in ESL Snapdragon Pro Series, there's a LAN in a couple of weeks where you will get points for BSC where you place. So, of course, it will go on to that in 2 weeks' time. So the final isn't actually now. But basically, because SK is so far behind, and well, if they get second this month, then they pretty much have to win the LAN, and then Foot come fourth, I believe. Well, Ope with another kill onto Jero. Wow, looks like SK are going to close this one off. But, you know, if they win this monthly final, I think all they have to do is place higher than Foot, I think. I was trying to do the maths like crazy and trying to see everyone do the maths before this game, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But SK, Jesus, they are absolutely clapping ZETA at the moment. That wasn't even close, and they get the first set really convincing. Okay, so jumping into the second set, then we have Canal Grande Bounty. I mean, if my world chances were on the line, I would not want to be playing Canal Grande. That is for sure. So we see the bans. I didn't speak about it last time. It was just so frantic. But anyways, we have a Carl, Sam, and a Grey, then Tick, Squeak, and Eve. So Cordelius is open. Pretty interesting. I guess it can be a little bit harder to pull off in pro matches. Also, Shelly is open. So we see Cordelius being picked up. This is actually one of my favorite maps for Cordelius, to be honest. I remember this is a map which I found really easy to pick up and play with him. So yeah, that'll be interesting. They picked Barley first, which is pretty good overall. Again, a lot more solid than the likes of Grom and Sprout. Definitely for the pros, and definitely in my opinion as well. We've seen that shift a lot more within recent months, and that's why whenever I do a tier list, I put Barley pretty high on the tier list, and people are always unsure as to why I put him there. I just think he's just so much more solid in the draft than a lot of the other throwers. Of course, he can literally switch over the other gadget, and then he can counter tanks a lot better. And also just any form of aggression, you know, Grom, Sprout, they're really going to suffer. Whereas Barley is pretty easy to hit shots when people are close to you. So that's why I really like him. But go to Nita as well. So Nita isn't really the best against Barley. So I guess they're just scared of ZETA picking something aggressive. Maybe like, I'm going to say Carl, but Carl's banned out. I'm not too sure. But Nita is pretty decent on this map anyway. We've seen like Nita, Tara on this map before. They go with his Shelly. So a bit questionable from ZETA here. They're kind of just going into SK's mindset here. I don't know. Maybe some reverse psychology. Because let's face it, literally one of Shelly's hardest matchups is literally Nita. So I guess, I don't know, they must have something up their sleeve. But with Cordelius as well, I think Cordelius has a much better matchup. So they go with a double thrower. Okay. That is something I don't see too often. They go with Willow as well, which can be pretty good. But the thing is, if Cordelius starts chaining his supers, it can be very dangerous. So I like some little different strategies, but then at the same time, it can be disastrous, especially on a map like Canal Grande and throwers. It can be really hard to gain control of the bushes again. So, yeah, in terms of the last pick for SK Gaming, to be honest, I don't know what really. Mortis, okay. I don't really like it. They must have a strategy for this. They must have seen ZETA go this before. That is my thinking, because why would you draft Mortis into a Shelly, and especially on a map like Canal Grande where it can be really hard for tanks to prosper? Well, you know, Mortis is kind of like an assassin tank. You get what I mean? But Mortis into a Shelly, yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Maybe their strategy is just to get the blue star, then try and just take control of the throwers easily. That is my guess. And then, yeah, I mean, once the thrower is isolated, of course, Mortis can destroy him in a 1v1. I think it's pretty risky, especially in a monthly final. So we see here, yeah, that's my thinking as well. So what ZETA was trying to do was put one thrower on one lane, a thrower on another, and then just try and get control of the whole map. But then they've had to adapt their strategy. But look, going into a Shelly, you're going to have to play some perfect Mortis. Again, I like the brave thinking, but if Mortis doesn't do anything here, it is pretty much over. So, I mean, it's only 1 minute. It's 1 minute 30 on the clock. We've got a lot of time to really come back from this one. And they're all grouped up. I mean, as long as the Shelly's protecting them, there's not much that SK can really do. I mean, Mortis coming in from behind. But this is where, you know, brawlers like Buzz even would have been probably be a bit better in terms of, like, Carl, I know he was banned. That's probably what I would have liked to have gone against this. But now Shelly has super. How are you supposed to even get close? I just don't get it. They need Cordelius to get a super. If I were Yoshi, I know he's playing it pretty passively, but I'll just end up taking maybe a few deaths just to try and charge up your super. And then once you get one super, you can start chaining like crazy. So, yeah, OPA trying to bait out the super. But when you're against a player like Naui, he's rarely going to make a mistake, right? So, it's going to be pretty hard to actually bait out his super. Playing it pretty perfectly so far, ZETA. Now Yoshi's starting to close in. That was a good bait out of the super from OPA, but again, they need to strike now before Shelly gets super again. Now he's just going to get another super. I just don't know what he's kind of thinking here. Again, I really love some adventurous picks, but when you're in the final for your world spot, essentially, you've got to play a bit more textbook. Like, let's be simple. I mean, maybe in the next few games, Mortis can do a little bit more, but this is pretty much over unless here. I mean, that's going to be a good mind control from Meow, but then it's going to allow the Mortis maybe to come in and chain. 3 seconds left. Okay, now he's just able to shut that one down. But Cordelius, oh, that was really close. Really close in the end. That nearly got pretty shaky. So you can see here, like, once ZETA maybe make one mistake, they can maybe capitalize on it. But ZETA is a team. That's why they're one of the best in the world. Like I was speaking about it, I've been watching Bobby stream all day. And the thing is, like, ZETA, of course, are insane. But teams go pretty neck and neck against them a lot of time. But then one of them will just make a mistake. And then that's how ZETA wins every single time normally. I've watched so many mistakes against them, and that's how they ended up winning. But of course, good teams make very little mistakes, especially in a game like Brawl Stars. The smallest of margins can result in a win. So, with the 3 stars up for ZETA. I kind of like the aggression this time from OP. He needs to get his super a lot quicker. And of course, Shelly's eventually going to get her super. So there's no harm in just maybe getting a quick death, getting some getting some charge to your bats. And then it can kind of go again. So Yoshi hasn't really got the range to do anything, but he does have the jump gadget to hand. So maybe if he waits for a couple of missed shots, he can start to close in. So now he's going to start with the aggression, but Meow does have a super to hand to push anyone away. Now with the clay pigeons, can use his super against Mortis as well here. He's going a little bit aggressive, which I don't really mind, but needs to be careful that it doesn't go too low. Chaos finally gets his super, so now might be able to push up OP with a good bait out, but yeah, they kind of need to make some better use out of it. I guess they're going for the late game. Yeah, if I was SK, I'd try and snatch the lead probably pretty late on. 40 seconds left, not too much really happening. A good bear from Chaos there. It's going to take a lot of ammo from ZETA to take him down. Oh no, OP just gets deleted again. It's looking pretty painful, but Yoshi with some really good plays here. Okay, only 2 stars up at the moment. Now he's just going to try and go in on a Mortis, and now it's starting to get really messy with 20 seconds left on the clock. Meow trying to get some damage onto Nita. He's actually going to overextend. Yoshi might be able to get the kill. Ope is going to go in here, gets the bats. He might be able to get Naui and Meow as well, but now is able to shut him down with a super. SK just pinched the lead in the end. Wow, that was some insane comeback. Wow, I can't believe he actually stole that. And now they're actually 1 game away from going 2 sets up. So going into the next game, and Ope straight away gets the kill onto Jero, and that is what I'm talking about. Sorry for a bit of split up, of course. I've got to take a drink break because my voice, as you can tell, is completely screwed at the moment. But that is the start that SK really wanted. And here Ope straight away going onto the throwers, and that is what we're talking about now with a 6-star lead. I like the changes. I mean, the first game I was slating Mortis a lot, but you can see here it's going on the throwers much quicker, which I definitely like. And he needed to get his bats quickly, right? Because of course once Shelly gets her super, wow, an 8-star lead now. That is pretty insane. I'm not too sure how Zeta actually come back from this. It's a lot. I mean, OP has 6 stars. It's very rare we see a good Mortis, right? Especially in competitive. Normally Mortis just gets destroyed a lot of the time. But to be fair, I think they only really need a kill onto the likes. Oh, okay. I mean, he's probably going to put him in the Shadow Realm straight away. But still now he's going to be able to get the kill. OP is going to go in here, and that is a pretty bad mistake. They need to capitalize on this quickly. Chaos is going to go down as well. Oh, I mean, OP, that was pretty good. It nearly messed up, but he was able to survive that. But now I think, yeah, 2 kills. So if they can kill Chaos and Yoshi, then they do get the lead back. But if they just kill OP as well, they can get the lead. So it's definitely winnable, but 20 seconds left. The clock is dwindling down. And Zeta, they need to win this one because coming back from 2 sets is a pretty hard thing to do. So the flush out from Jero right here. It's going to force all SK Gaming back a little bit. Bruce Bear comes out, and that's going to push a lot of damage back, but there's just not enough time. SK just able to split up so well, and that was perfectly executed from SK in the end. They're able to go 2 sets up. I'm honestly very surprised, guys. So going into potentially the final game of this series, an SK sweep would be an absolute madness. But you see the Tara first pick, Ems, Sprout, and Amber banned out. Sprout, sorry, Squeak. I don't know why I said Sprout. And then we see the Grey being picked off. MC Squeak, Cordelis, and Shelly banned out as well. So Grey actually has got a lot of a higher use rate right now. I mean, Grey is someone who I don't typically see too much in Power League. And also, I don't know, I've not really seen him too much before this month. But in East Asia, I watched a little bit of it. By the way, I'm doing a breakdown of East Asia on my second channel as well. But they were using Grey quite a lot, and especially as a mid in gem grab, so it's really interesting. I kind of like it. But they go with Jesse as well. I don't know what to think of Jesse and Grey on double swoosh. Like, both brawlers might struggle in terms of vision. I do like Jesse and double swoosh. You're starting to see a lot more Jesse, especially to counter out Tara, because of course you know, Jesse can shoot the pets. You've also just got the ability to put a turret in a good spot against that Tara. You know, Greg is just really good in gem grab because you've got the safety of his teleport to teleport away from any funny business. But not only that, you can get a lot of control through the teleports. I just absolutely love it. I've seen it in Hard Rock Mine. I've seen it in double swoosh. It does work out. So if you go with the Crow. So Crow, of course, really good on double swoosh. I'm pretty surprised that Crow wasn't picked up earlier, even though I didn't mention it. Crow's normally a brawler that is banned out pretty much all of the time. So yeah, surprised it kind of left the draft stage till this long. And in terms of final picks here, you know, I wouldn't be surprised by maybe a Mr. P. Yep, I literally called it, didn't I? Literally called it Mr. P. Mr. P's got to be good against that composition because, of course, against single shot brawlers, Mr. P is really strong. You've also just got the ability to waste a lot of ammo from Grey. I just, whenever I'm thinking of drafting, especially when I'm watching, I'm thinking, right, if I'm playing a Grey, for example, who would it be really annoying to face off against? It's either against maybe some aggressive picks in the grass because you can't scout them, or just Mr. P porters just constantly wasting your ammo. You can literally waste 3 of your ammo. So if we go with a Poco, so Poco is going to be a good counter to the likes of Crow. and it can be pretty good against Tara, to be honest. But then again, if the Tara pops off and chains supers, it's going to be pretty hard. To be honest, it's a really messy composition onto both sides of things. I don't know who I would actually call in terms of who's got the draft diff, because it is a bit of a wild one from SK. I haven't seen anything like it. So in my mind, I like the more traditional side of ZETA, but maybe SK got something up their sleeves, and I wouldn't be surprised if they end up clawing out a 3-0 in the end. But again, can we just talk about that last set? That last set was just insane. To be honest, I need to just delete the first game. I knew it would kind of bite me from behind if Mortis actually managed to pop off, but you know, fair play to OP, he made it work. So Chaos already using a walking cane here, so it's good to count the gadgets, because once he runs out of gadgets, it's going to be pretty hard for Gray to make a big impact and also to charge his super. So interesting here to see Yoshi down the lane against Crow. I think Crow should have a bit of a better matchup, to be honest, considering he can scout a lot better, but Yoshi's holding his own pretty decently. Interesting to see now he's not using speed on a Crow. I know he's a pro, but surely speed gear is just going to be better, just because you can dodge a lot more, and especially down your lane. But again, he is the pro, he should be able to know more. Gerald using speed though, and so is Meow. Pretty much, yeah, everyone on SK is using speed. So again, I'm just unsure why now he's not using the speed gear, but doesn't really matter so far. Just a lot of chipping going back and forth. No one really wants to feed the other team's super. We see Meow actually pick up a really important gem there, just because he picked up the gem on the side of Chaos. But now Chaos looking at, okay, no, he's not going to go in there. Now Meow has super. Gerald's going to get pulled by the walking cane. Now Chaos has no more walking canes to hand, but now OPA can push into the bushes. He's able to get some good pressure. Chaos is able to pinch a gem back, and that's a really good super from Gerald. Nearly goes down in the end, but that's definitely what they needed to relieve a little bit of pressure. Now Chaos can super away if needed. Now he is kind of scouting nothing at the moment. Could have probably been pushed up into a much better position. It actually gets taken down by the Poco in the end. Ope is going to have to fall back because he's pretty weak. And now just one gem needs to spawn on the side of ZETA, and they're going to be able to get the countdown. So Chaos definitely needs to be aggressive, or the whole side of SK needs to be aggressive. The gem perfectly spawns for ZETA, and OP gets taken down. Yoshi hasn't really done too much at the moment with the Jesse pick, and they haven't got enough time to stay in the middle, I believe. Yeah, that gem isn't going to spawn in time, and ZETA, they're going to be able to hold on to things in the end. So really well played from ZETA in the end. I felt SK were just playing a bit too passive. Like, we know SK is a really passive team in nature. They like to wait for the opponents to make mistakes. More often than not, ZETA will not make a mistake, and there was a couple of aggressive plays there from ZETA which opened the doors a little bit, allowed them to get a gem lead, and that's the kind of little interactions that I really appreciate, especially as being a former pro player, is that I like it when like a lane goes a little bit aggressive. It allows the gem carry to pick up a couple of gems. That's what I loved when my teammates used to do that, because then you can get the gem lead for sure. So Chaos gone a little bit more aggressive. You see the Poco in the mid this time around, which I definitely like, I would say. I don't know, they've got 3 mids here in SK, so I just not really feeling their composition at the moment. But we see the Poco actually get a lot of his supercharge from Vitara there. Okay, I'm liking it a lot more now. This is where the aggressive and nature which I wanted to see from SK all along, and wow, they just completely turned it on its head. Why on earth did they play so passive in the first game? Maybe nerves is one thing. They were pretty scared to really go in, but you could just see the strategy just clearly works if they all put their minds to it. But now he's able to get a good slow onto Chaos, and now we see this could be the start of the end for SK. The positioning for ZETA, they are down 6 gems, so SK just need to get one kind of kill down the lane, and we can start to come back. Another kill from Naui onto Chaos. I mean, it's really hard for Gray to really win any lane unless he can get like a couple of, maybe like 1 or 2 decent taps out of nowhere. But against a Crow with fast movement speed, it's going to be pretty hard. Chaos waiting for his super right here. Does get the TP onto Naui, but again goes down, and it's just looking pretty bad, isn't it? Jesse with a slow, which actually really doesn't do too much because Gerald's basically full HP here. But SK only need 1 more gem. Still, someone from ZETA needs to make some aggressive plays. Chaos is going to be pretty weak. Ope goes really aggro here. He's able to get his super as well, and he's able to get out in time. Gerald with some really clutch in behind plays. Unfortunately, the Tara super isn't going to be doing the most, and it's just too much for ZETA to do. So I mean, they re-established their control a little bit, Zeta, but it's just too little too late. Literally giving SK 8 gems was just way too much. And now, well, Yoshi is Yoshi is chilling. He's just like, I don't even care how much pressure is on the line here. He's just like, okay, I'm just going to close this one out. But now, SK are literally one round away from winning the monthly finals. And in terms of the world chances, that is absolutely huge. They need to win this one for sure. I mean, LCQ, they've still guaranteed LCQ, right? But LCQ is going to be... It's going to be full of really good teams. So if you don't know what LCQ is, last chance qualifiers, basically 4 teams from, I think, 16 teams from around the world will qualify for the world finals, which actually got revealed, by the way. It's in Poland, Katowice, I think, in a couple of months' time. So that'll be pretty interesting to see as well, another LAN. But yeah, essentially, there's just so many good teams still in the last chance qualifiers that if I was any EMEA team, I wouldn't even want to risk it. I really wouldn't. So SK need to close this one out whilst they've got match point to hand. So Jero using the, is it Psychic Enhancer? I think the gadget's called. I don't know, it's been such a long time since I've really seen anyone use it. Definitely good to switch though, because as I mentioned, Jess can counter the pets too easily. I guess he can still get value against Grey as a Tara, but Poker can just shoot for the pets as well. So, I mean, things are going back and forth. The thing is, SKs do have that 1 gem lead. Now we're going to go down as well. Meow, I don't know what he is really doing there. That is a big throw, to be honest. And now SK are literally 1 gem away. Jero wasting a pull as well. This is very uncharacteristic from ZETA, making a lot of mistakes. And now SK just need 1 more gem to close things out at the moment. Chaos does go low, a really aggressive Mr. P Porter, and it does need to be aggressive because they need to collect every single gem. Well, at least 4 more gems in a row, else they can't stop the countdown without a takedown. So Chaos has his super to hand here. He's going to be flashing it. Yoshi uses his super, which are they going to teleport in through the super. That was a really, really tasty play. And now OP is going to be able to overextend, and the lead just goes the way of ZETA instead. Wow, it's so painful to watch, especially if you're an SK fan. They literally had it in their fingertips, and yeah, it's gonna fall down, unfortunately. So I don't know where things went wrong. OP probably went a little bit too aggressive. I think maybe pressure got to them, but ZETA able to get at least a set under their belt. This might be a really long game. Alright guys, so jumping into set number 4 here, we have Kaboom Canyon Heist, and we can see about bans. We have Crow, Bonnie and Amber, and then we have Tara, Squeak and Bonnie as well. So Tara, pretty interesting ban. I've seen it quite a few times in competitive recently, but for a ban, you know, it's still kind of wild. So probably gonna have to slow down the tempo of the commentary a little bit. I know I should be like screaming, but I am slowly losing my voice. Yeah, it is so hard to do a video, especially with how intense this actually is, but I've got to bring it to you guys. We see the Eve as well, of course, on Kaboom Canyon is going to be pretty good. You know, Belle, it's pretty early in Kaboom. I like it, but I've not really seen Belle picked early too often in competitive anymore. Normally, you can shut it down pretty quickly. If I was ZETA, who would I go against the Belle? Just trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, Carl, normally picked towards the end for ZETA. Can be pretty good. Colette is pretty surprising they've not picked it just yet. But go with a Cordelius, which it's going to be really good on Heist. I really like Cordelius on Heist. The fact that you can just remove the opponent from the high safe, it can be really good for defense. And even if you don't kill the tank or the aggressor, at least you're wasting their time. So Cordelius is going to be pretty good into most things. I guess if I was SK, I'll try and keep my distance and not feed Cordelius. But the thing is, if they go more longer range brawlers into a Cordelius, then if ZETA have last pick, they can go a Buzz, they can go a Carl. So SK got to be pretty onto this one. So to go to Brock, pretty standard for Heist. Of course, Brock is just insane at the moment. You can pick either gadget as well. You can use Rocket Laces if they go with an aggression towards the end here. And again, if I was SK, maybe go with, I don't know if I need some damage though. I'll probably go with like a Daryl myself, a Carl, a Buzz. Yeah, I'll go with something like that because you can't go like 3 sharpshooters. On the Heist, you can win with just, well, we'll go with Jessie, okay? That is pretty good. That's like a in-between, right? Like Jessie, I was thinking of a Jessie for Zeta instead of Cordelius. I just didn't say it. Jessie can be good. Of course, she can keep the range against Cordelius, and she can get some good damage. So that was one thing I was worried about with SK. I was going to say is that if they pick like a B, for example, which is really good against Cordelius, it's the fact that, like, yeah, they can keep control for 2 minutes 20 of the heist game, but then all Zeta will need to do for literally a split second is deal a little bit of damage. Of course, they got a call. It's just so obvious, right? I've been watching Zeta all year. They've won 3 monthly finals, and they've been so dominant. And time again, the thing I pick out is that Jero is an insane call, and I don't know if teams just feel like they've got a game plan for it anyways, but more often than not, Jero's call just wins them the game. So if I was other teams, if I was a pro player still, I would just end up banning call, if I'm completely honest. Or, you know, it's pretty obvious they're going to go call or a buzz, just making sure you've got an answer to it. So I think they've got an okay composition against call, like at least Jessie can feed super from it. But if Jero does Jero things, he's literally playing against sharpshooters, so Cole should be able to slice and dice them up. But wow, SK are able to pinch him out so quickly, and that is just what you needed if you're an SK player. So be able to get a rocket laces as well in the middle to break that open. Now Jero uses another flying hook. He's only got one left, but he needs to keep the aggression pretty early on. And another I don't know what it's called, another gadget from Brock, able to break it open a little bit. Now he's going to get taken down, and Meow with some good supercharge is going to get taken down in the end. Another flying hook, while Jero's able to get a kill onto Jessie, a kill onto Brock. This guy on the call is just insane. Now he's able to use the jump gadget to get a kill onto Belle, and that's pretty good. But the thing is, I mean, Zeta haven't even got the most damage for heist anyways. They got 20%, but SK definitely have the damage composition now with Brock and Jessie. That was looking worrying for Zeta, if I'm honest. Jessie tore it down in the grass. That was a really well-timed Cordelius super, by the way. I think it cancelled out the Brock super, so pretty good. Yoshi tapping on the Jessie. That's going to be a Belle trap, I think, onto for Cordelius, able to take him down. That's going to be full control for SK Gaming, with OP able to get some Brock shots onto the safe. Jessie tore it to hand it pretty soon. That's going to go down really quickly, though, so I didn't really like that. Wasn't really the right opportunity, but at least you can cycle your super pretty well with Jessie. Great takedown from Meow. This is unbelievable teamwork from Zeta in the end. Just removing Yoshi from the situation allowed Jero to push in, allowed Meow to push in, and now they're able to get some control of the grass. I just love it. Really love the way that Zeta play the game sometimes. And now the quadruplets are coming in to put up a little bit of pressure. Now he's going to go down in the end, but I like it. At least you're getting some value out of it. Meow's able to take down Chaos. OP, he's going to go really aggro. I don't really like that play from OP, to be honest, because he was pretty weak. Probably should have just tried to heal up at least a little bit and push Zeta back. But now with 20 seconds left, Zeta have full control, and it's just looking even worse for SK. Yoshi's able to get a turret. He needs to get Jero out of his position fast. Jero's able to get a super, able to get the kill, and able to get the kill onto OP as well. And that's going to be a big win for Zeta. Wow. I'm honestly mind blown from that teamwork. Such good pinching, teamwork, communication, and they're able to just keep control for so long. And that's what I'm talking about with Jero's call. Like, time and time again, like, if you've watched my Power League games on stream, whenever I play a call, like sometimes I can make a pop-off play, but it just feels like every single time Jero goes up the map, he's making something happen. He's able to get so much value out of protective pirouette style power. It's unbelievable. So I really like it so far. I mean, if Jero literally had the worst start possible in the last round, and they managed to win anyway, so surely, I mean, he gets pinched out again there. I guess the gadget first play, it's a bit too obvious, right? But at the same time, you need to do it to get the pressure to Meow. Gadgets into the corner there to try and get some pressure. Jero again, he's going to go in. He's going to feed the Jessie turret on. But I guess you just need to keep up the aggression as much as possible. Now with not the best time to gadget, but I guess he's just trying to get his first super. Questionable wall break from OP. I guess just breaking open everything should make it easier for free sharpshooters to do a lot. You know what? I kind of like it, and that's going to be a super onto the safe, and already 30% dealt from SK. Pretty good from them so far. Kels misses the mark, but that's going to be 2 Belle traps down from 1 life right there. Jero is able to get a really important double kill. And again, just look at this guy. He's able to get double kill after double kill all the time, and he's able to keep his team in the game. So After a minute of control from SK, I suppose 40% is pretty good overall. Now he uses another gadget, which he probably didn't really need to use, to be honest. A good Belle trap in the end, but he's able to survive a little bit. Now his teammates need to follow up with a little bit of damage. Only 4% dealt. Chaos can keep with a tap. Somehow doesn't manage to get the kill in time. Jero's just waiting for him to get close to super, and then he can go with a flying hook and super combination. He's slowly trying to get some damage in. Meow, he's able to get his quadruplets in pretty soon. Now SK with so much on the line, of course they're going to play it pretty passive. They've got so much at risk here. Chaos is one shot. Jero has super. Now we can go flying hook and a protective pirouette. Does get the double takedown pretty much there. Jero's able to get even more damage now. He's just going to keep Yoshi locked in the circle. He needs to get him down as quickly as possible. Does get the takedown as well. A good super out from OP does actually break open the map as well, so that's going to be even better in the long run. But now great takedown as well onto Jero, and SK can start with a counter offensive here with a Jesse turret. I mean, that was a bit late from Naui. Jero's just going to go up here, try and get the kill onto the Belle. That's not going to be enough, and surely SK are going to be able to take this one with only Eve left alive. Brock is able to get a lot of damage on his end. I like the thinking there, but when it came to it, some really smart thinking from OP just to get himself into the corner, and it kind of forced ZETA into a position where they had to go on the aggressive as well. Else I'd be wasting too much time pinching out the Brock. And now, again, Yoshi looking so calm and collected. SK on match point again. So they can't fumble it this time. You can't get reverse swept when there's so much on the line. That would be so embarrassing. I'm literally face palming just thinking of that idea. So another flying hook to start with from Jero. A lot better this time. Dodges a lot of shots, and wow, this could be dangerous for SK. Now Jero's full HP. That's exactly what he would have wanted. Another gadget from OP. Now he's able to get onto the high safe, and wow, 20% dealt. Again, it's definitely not looking the best for SK. This time around, they don't actually break open that back wall in the mid, which I think was one of the keys to their successes in that second game of that set. But now he's going to be really aggressive in the end. But only 20% dealt from ZETA. If I was Jero, I'll just try and get rid of those Belle traps as quickly as possible, especially when you're pretty low in HP. Meow is going to go down eventually. A bit of a wasted jump in my opinion. He was going to go down anyway. No point really exerting your gadgets when you're in that situation. I know I'll probably do it at the best of times as well, but when you're about to go down, you don't really want to use like your super or your gadget in a lot of cases, because you're not going to get much value out of it. So Jero, he's got a lot of pressure, right? Just knowing that the Cole's got flying hook and he might be close to super is enough just to push their opponents back. A really crucial mark from Chaos in the end. He's just going to go walk up and auto him, and Meow really needs to get the kill onto at least one of them here. But OP, he charges up his super and he's able to rain a lot of damage onto that high safe. It's exactly the one Brawl you don't want on your high safe, but Jero's able to clean up pretty swiftly. 1 minute left on the clock. ZETA with about 20% lead, so really close here. Jero has no more flying hooks left, so now he really relies off his super to get some good value, or his teammate. Well, actually only Meow really has the range to keep up, so Meow really needs to start hitting these shots. Does get some good taps onto Jesse. Another pretty weird turret from Yoshi, if I'm honest. I guess he can't really get the most value out of it, but could definitely saved it. He's going to get some decent taps onto Naui. Now he's going to be really low. He's going to push in and get some good damage, and he has got a Shadow Realm available when he does respawn. Jero's just going to super here, try and waste as much time as possible. I'd have gone on to OP a bit quicker there. Could have probably taken him down. Good takedown from Meow. That was so important to get that Brock down. Now Jero's going to respawn with only 30 seconds left. If I was Naui, I'll just lock OP in the Shadow Realm, and that is pretty much GG. He goes for it here. He manages to connect in time, and now there's just no way that SK can do anything. So the reverse sweep is on. I can't believe I'm even saying this. Another monthly final for EMEA, and it's going down to the 5th set again. This is actually insane. Jumping into the 5th and final set, we have a potential reverse sweep on our hands here. And we see on field goal, Cole, Ash and Squeak banned out from ZETA, and then Squeak, Barley and Willow banned out from SK Gaming. So Anita first pick. Of course, Shelly is open, Cordelius is open, so Anita would be a pretty good pick into that. And then, of course, if SK don't go Shelly themselves, I guess that could be a reason why ZETA picked Shelly last time on Canal Grande, right? Is that, you know, again, it's not really the best into Anita, but at least you're taking Shelly off of their hands. So I could I could still see SK going with Shelly here for sure. Go to Cordelius. I'm just surprised, seriously, that Cordelius and Shelly are being left open as much as it is. It can get counted out with the right team play, but more often than not, it's just not worth it. You can see their brawler win rates as well. Yeah, Dynamite, of course, is absolutely insane, especially as a last pick. So, if I was ZETA for sure, you need to get some aggression, because it's pretty obvious that a Dynamite or something last pick is going to be coming out. So, they go to Crow. Pretty sure that probably either a B or a Gus, probably maybe even a Bonnie mid as well to counteract potentially for a last pick. Could be pretty good on the side of ZETA. More often than not, most people pick a B into a Crow just because you can kind of keep that mid-range pretty easily. B can definitely handle a Crow pretty easily. If we go to Bonnie, so literally as I mentioned, Bonnie used to be like a first pick on field goal, and then people realized that it can overwhelm her pretty easily. But the reason why they picked Bonnie again, because they're so scared of that thrower last pick from SK for sure, especially with Chaos. I think Chaos played again. I'm trying to remember who it was. Oh, it was A&R. He played it on pit stop, and it was insane. It was so good. Like, he literally played against 3 aggro brawlers, which typically aren't Dynamite's best matchups, and he just popped off. So yeah, I wouldn't be giving Chaos to Dynamite for sure. And we go with the Grace. So if I was SK, I would go aggro here. I would definitely go an aggressive brawler. I know it can be risky. I know it's 5th and final set, but you're gonna be countering both Gray and Bonnie. I'm screaming a tanky option like a Primo. I've seen him play Primo quite often, and it's very good here. I mean, Shelly still could be okay, but yeah, I would be going something tanky. We need something tanky, even as Sam, if you can play it. We go with Spike. So I guess Spike's going to be good. Spike can be good against Gray and Nita. You've got the Life Plant, which is good against Gray. You've got Spike against Nita. Literally since I played Brawl Stars at the beginning, for probably like 4 or 5 years now, Spike's always been a counter to Nita, so that is pretty obvious. In terms of the drafts, I don't know, but because SK have Cordelius, I'd actually favour them a little bit. But Bonnie can get jumps and then jump on top of a Crow or Spike, especially when they're a little bit weak, and finish them off pretty quickly. Gray and Bonnie have got more pop-off potential in the sense of like getting quick goals. We'll have to wait and see. I think they're definitely a little bit more even than in most of the other sets, you know, like the Gem Grab one, for example. That was just so damn bad from SK in the end, and even at that high set, it was a really questionable draft in the end, because going 3 longer range brawlers, it just screams to get countered by a certain brawler. That's one of the 101 tips for drafts, is like, you don't go 3 of the same brawlers. Like, for example, like if ZETA went another sharpshooter brawler, they could have, like, SK could have just gone an aggressive brawler last pick. So good pass over from ZETA there, and in the end, 2 ZETA players actually go down. Jero uses his teleport to get the kill onto Spike, which normally I wouldn't like, but the more I'm learning about Gray is that don't be afraid just to use your teleport whenever, really, just because the teleport in a good situation is going to be able to win you so many games. I've seen it happen time and time again. So now he uses his Sugar Rush, gets a really good value there, actually lands onto both of them, and now Yoshi has to fall back because he's pretty weak. A pretty good walking cane from Jero does get blocked out by the Life Plant, and now he actually has no more gadgets left, so actually pretty bad looking cane with all things considered. Yoshi is able to push forward now because, of course, Jero has no more gadgets to hand. Yeah, he's going to be switching on matchup. Of course, he can't be that good against Spike. Chaos is going to be able to push him back. Now he's pretty weak. At least now he's got his super to hand. Jero can quite comfortably teleport onto a Spike now because he hasn't got Life Plant. Of course, he's going to wait until he's about 1 or 2 shot. Now he's going to slowly get pinched out. Yoshi's now got his Shadow Realm to hand here. Jero's going to teleport onto Spike, but really needs to help out his teammates instead. Now we have a really good super clear. I don't think that's really going to do too much because Ope can just pass this forward to the Cordelius, and that's going to be surely a goal for SK. No! Wow! That was a really clutch shot there. I think it's a really clutch save there. Sorry, I had to cut out a little bit because I'm just so ill. But that should have easily been a goal now. With 15 seconds left, ZETA have full control. in the end, but at least Yoshi has his Shadow Realm to hand, and now SK is starting to push forward. Of course, the pressure of the Shadow Realm can be pretty annoying. Cordelius has to waste a lot of ammo here, so now maybe time for ZETA to strike. OP does have his super to hand. He's actually going to get taken down there in the end, probably a little bit too reluctant to use his super. Now the Shadow Realm to hand, a pass forward to Meow, a teleport in from Jero, and that's going to be the slot in from Meow, and now they're just one game away from taking the full reverse sweep, and ZETA are literally playing in the pitch dark. Like, what? You can't even see any of them. Why are they playing in the pitch black? I just don't get it. It would actually hurt my eyes. I guess some people actually like playing in a darker setting, but me personally, I like it when the lights are really bright behind me. But Obe, he's going to be able to get down to a one shot there. Now we with a bit of a sus jump, to be honest. Jero uses the walking cane, able to get the kill onto Crow there. I don't think that was probably meant. But Meow, he's in the Shadow Realm, probably trying to get into a good position here to take down the spike. It's pretty funny in competitive play, right? Because of course you can speak to your teammates in voice chat. So you probably got Yoshi saying like, "Oh yeah, Meow's in the middle," but then you've also got ZETA saying like, "Oh yeah, Spike, he's over that way. Make sure to position yourself well." So it's pretty funny, like the back and forth in terms of the Shadow Realm and what it can potentially bring to competitive play. Now OP has super. For some reason they've left now we all alone, but now we've really well timed super in the end. That was nearly disastrous for ZETA. I don't know what they were really doing, just leaving that right hand side really open. Chaos with a good super to hand, and that's going to be the goal surely here. Yoshi's going to be able to get Meow pretty low, and yeah, you can see ball control wins you the game a lot of the time in Brawl. I spotted that straight away. The fact that it was like 3 people from SK, they had the ball on that side. ZETA players just looked a bit lost. They had no way to really close the gap and get over that side quickly enough. It's going to be painful. So Yoshi with a really good super and gadget play, which you see quite often when people play Cordelius. It's just textbook Cordelius being able to get so much pressure. OP tries to get the goal in, and Jero somehow gets the ball away. He made it look so simple. Like, I don't know how he managed to do that so quickly. Normally I just end up messing things up and just wasting it. Yoshi could go for the magical, does actually end up getting a Shadow Realm play and the mute off in the end, which is a really good play. The fact that the Shadow Realm can just go through the Bruce Bear is a bit wild to me. Like, you think of like a Gene Pool, for example, it's normally tanked by any type of turret or object, but the Cordelius super can literally go through things, which I don't know how I really feel about that, but maybe it would be too hard to pull off your Cordelius super, right? But they need to do that with Gene Pool, right? If they do it with Cordelius super, they need to do it with Gene Pool. Hashtag buff Gene. But now, 15 seconds left. ZETA really need to come back from behind here. Yoshi with a good Shadow Realm. There's just not enough. Jero goes down. Meow's going to go down as well, unless now he can literally do miracles. There's no chance he's going to be able to get in. So, I mean, he tries to super. Does get a kill. And now, wow. I like to see close games, right? I like to see close games. It's going straight down to the wire. Match point. It couldn't get any closer. You know, as a competitor, I would love to be in the scenario, but at the same time, there was so much pressure, right? Especially for SK having to win this one. Literally, their world's lives could depend on whether they win, and of course, there's so much pressure for Foot and A&R as well, because they're both watching from the sidelines, hoping that ZETA get the win right here. But that's not going to be good for them, because Jero's going to be able to get taken down, and now he's going to get some good taps in. I think he's 1 shot away from super, or 2 shots away. Might be able to get the confirmed killer onto Crow, but Chaos is doing such a good job on the spike here, keeping him at bay. Does get the jump in, and now he times his super so well. Like, normally, you know, Bonnie jumps look easy, but more often than not, I mess up my Bonnie jumps quite a lot. But now he just seems to make so many good Bonnie plays, able to take down the squishy brawlers in the right opportunity. Now OP has his super, does use the slowing toxin there onto Naui, I believe, but kind of wasted. Not much really from that. A great shot from Naui, being able to avoid that life plant and get the kill. Does use his super there, which I guess is okay because he confirmed the goal, but probably didn't need to use it in the end. But they got the goal. They've got 1 minute 20 left now, and ZETA are about to do the unthinkable. They literally survived, what, like 4 match points? I don't know how many match points in the end, but SK had a lot of chances to close things off, and they're going to be kicking themselves if they can't close this one out. With 1 minute on the clock, at least Yoshi has his Shadow Realm to hand. Ope has no more gadgets left, so a little bit of utility not going their way. Yoshi gets an easy kill onto the Bonnie. Ope with a really good super there, able to land perfectly, getting so much damage. Jero is surviving so well. Yoshi just has his Shadow Realm to hand here. They need to be able to get him down there, and I just feel like that was an overextension and just forced it way too much. I suppose there is 1 minute left on the clock, but I would have just saved myself there. I don't think there was a goal opportunity to be had, considering how quickly ZETA were able to get up. But Yoshi being able to get a good kill there, at least now we can get some more pressure. Now he is able to get the kill in the end. Ope with a really good jump as well onto Jero. They need to get this pinch out as soon as possible. 25 seconds left, and ZETA just do this perfectly. Look how much chaos is going on here, like just wasting the time. There's only 15 seconds left for them to get a goal, and now Meow can just push forward, and then we have a respawning Naui as well with so much HP. Yoshi gets a mute in, but it's going to take a lot for him to find a goal. He isn't going to be able to do anything, and with 5 seconds left, ZETA able to get the full reverse sweep, and it's nothing more satisfying as a player to get that to hand. ZETA, they win 4 monthly finals in a row, and I know I've said it before, they are beatable, but to do that in EMEA, one of the toughest regions against some of the best teams, fair play to ZETA. Wow, they how can you beat them? They're like robots. Seriously, they honestly are like robots. But that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. A lot to take in. Congrats to ZETA for winning 4 monthly finals. Commiserations to SK. They have to literally win the ESL LAN and hope for come last. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. Tomorrow's video is going to be also a really big banger on the NA monthly finals, so make sure to check that one out. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.